Now that you've set your local pricing, let's look at the possibility of going global into foreign markets. Nobody is born global, but you can definitely travel as an e-commerce company. Why even look at foreign markets? It could be due to local competition and market saturation. It could be other factors, or it could just be to increase revenue of your business operations. There are many factors to take into account that could prove challenging whenever you're expanding into a foreign market, and it's important to take those factors into account to drive your decision to either expand or not expand into that market. We do have document 6.4 in the document kit that details all of the factors you should take into account, but we're going to go through the 6 major factors together and some of their subsections to decide if you should go into that foreign market or not. The first most important factor you should take into account is by looking at the cost assessment of going into that market. You need to consider all international operational costs. We need to look at shipping, customs, clearance, duties, taxes, tariffs, insurances, what comes with new business operations in this foreign market. We also need to look at the cost of establishing, if necessary, a foreign business entity in that market. Some countries may require you to set up and have a sales tax ID and set up everything just as your local operations in that foreign market as well. The second section I would look at is the market research. We have to research the pricing in that new market. We need to look at similar e-commerce products, services that are offered, and how do those prices benchmark and compare to what I'm currently offering and currently competing with. You also need to evaluate the average income, internet penetration, and even e-commerce usage in that new market. Is this a country that they're used to going online and buying products, or are they still used to brick and mortar locations? As an e-commerce company, this is one of the most important factors I need to look into. The next section would be legal and even regulations. I need to look at e-commerce regulations, tariffs, duties, and even trade agreements, and see if there is anything specifically outlined for e-commerce companies and how they're going to affect me. I need to understand the local tax regulations for e-commerce businesses. Is there an extra digital sales tax? Is there a value-added tax? The next section would be the currency and inflation. I need to consider the currency exchange rates, and in case I'm selling in a market that doesn't purchase products and sell products in the same currency that I'm currently using. How do those exchange rates affect me? How am I going to get my money out of that country, and in what country will I have my bank account? I also need to consider my local inflation rates. Is there a purchasing power? Can these consumers even buy my product? Do they care to buy such a product with what they have available? The next section would be the pricing strategy. I have to determine if the current pricing model and pricing strategy that I decided upon, if it was cost-based, value-based, market-based, is even feasible in this new market, and if I need to choose a different pricing strategy depending on what the foreign competition is. This will affect the price point of what I'm putting in that new market. I need to plan any discounts. I need to plan any holiday sales that are culturally appropriate for this new market. What are the most popular holidays that they take into account whenever they're selling products in that specific industry? For example, in my example, for furniture, what are certain cultural holidays that might come up that will have an extra discount on furniture? The last section would be your profit margin and return on investment. You do need to look into and calculate the expected profit margins after considering all costs of expanding into that foreign market. Is it worth that step? Is it worth that decision? And after deciding that and after expanding, I have to continually monitor my key metrics. I need to look at my conversion rates, my average order value, and everything going on that I looked at locally to see if it was worth acquiring those new customers and selling my products. After you take all of these 6 sections into account, you'll be able to decide if it's worth going into that foreign country, that foreign market, or not. So we've developed our pricing, we've developed our foreign pricing strategy. So in the next section, let's look at our branding and catalog and really build out our e-commerce brand and see how we're going to convey ourselves to our customers, either locally or foreign.